Hello everyone, today I wanted to talk a little bit about TV shows on Blu-ray and highlight a few shows that have yet to come to the format that I would really love to see a remastered collection. TV shows in general, I have an unbelievable number of DVDs, a huge collection. Been buying TV shows on DVD since DVD first started coming out. So for me to get a Blu-ray set of a TV show, especially shows that some favorite shows, I might already have 3 different DVD editions depending on how many times it's been re-released over the years. So for me to trade one of those out for a Blu-ray set, there needs to be a real big reason. It has to be something like, say, Northern Exposure, where they fixed the majority of the music rights issues, or the Mill Creek Charlie's Angels Blu-ray set, which is actually a huge visual upgrade from the DVDs. There needs to be some sort of incentive, whether that's a largely remastered picture or things that were edited out for different original broadcast versions versus reruns, special features, whatever. There needs to be a really big reason. Otherwise, I just don't get a show on Blu-ray even if it's out, or maybe something like The X-Files. I just picked a handful of favorite seasons to add to the collection along with the DVD sets. It needs to be a significant reason. And there's always been 5 shows for years that, these are the ones that I want to see on Blu-ray. These are the ones I really want to add to my collection. And thankfully, 2 of the 5 are coming out, and there's only 3 left that I'm like, I really, really want to see on Blu-ray get remastered. One of the big ones coming up here, of course, I Love Lucy. They, years ago, just did seasons 1 and 2, and these were amazing sets. They are incredible, my favorite ways to watch these first 2 seasons. And then, this was about 10 years ago or so, they said, that's it. Never gonna happen. There's never gonna be any more Lucy on Blu-ray. Finally, the complete series is coming to Blu-ray now, in just about 2 months after I filmed this video. And then one of the other ones being Bewitched, one of my all-time favorite shows, probably my ultimate comfort TV show. Finally, we're getting 2 different variations of the complete series on Blu-ray from Mill Creek and Imprint. And then the last 3, these are the ones that I would pay crazy amounts to see get remastered on Blu-ray. Have a great collection. They're must-haves. I really, really want to see them. One is MASH. One of, if honestly, this might be my pick, especially seasons 3 through 11, as the greatest TV show of all time. And I think it's a tragedy that it has not had a release on Blu-ray, a complete collection. And the other 2, which are a bit of a frustrating situation, more so than just the fact that they have not had a release and it's well overdue. The 2 ones that I want more than anything, of course, are Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Love Voyager, I'm a huge Trekkie. Deep Space Nine is my favorite TV show of all time. And it's such a frustrating situation because the majority of their contemporaries, particularly within the sci-fi genre, are on Blu-ray. And the big reason why they have not been put on Blu-ray is a case that, especially over time, defies logic a little bit. Made a little bit of sense years ago, the argument against doing the remaster because of the TNG Blu-ray. There was a massive undertaking to remaster these episodes, going back to the original film and redoing so many of these special effects, and it was a monstrous undertaking. It was incredibly expensive, and then the Blu-ray sets when they came out were insanely expensive, and it was not a cost-effective endeavor. It really wasn't, and I kind of see why at that time then the argument would be, is it worth then doing the same treatment to Voyager and Deep Space Nine, which are less popular than TNG? But that argument is largely no longer valid, and that's what makes the situation so incredibly frustrating, especially because these 2, Voyager and Deep Space Nine, while I would, of course, love to see a TNG level remaster, the project could proceed in more of a preservation versus restoration mindset, meaning the technology now to go back to sources and upscale versus going the TNG route, while the end product would definitely not be quite the same caliber as the TNG Blu-rays, it would be a significant upgrade compared to the DVDs. I mean, Deep Space Nine and Voyager, in a lot of ways, the Japanese Laserdisc releases, which are better than the ones we got here in the US, are better than the DVDs, which is crazy to think that the last seasons of Deep Space Nine and Voyager, both of them, it was season 5, were the last ones to release on Laserdisc, are still really the best ways of watching Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and the streaming really isn't any better. It's kind of worse than most of the DVDs, really, depending on what your setup is. So while I would love to see a TNG level effort put in, I don't think at this point that it's necessary. Just get it out on Blu-ray in HD. Even just it would be a significant visual upgrade that these shows deserve. And it's one of the few cases where I really want to see that and really think it is necessary. And for me too, like I'm a little bit older and watch more older formats of stuff. I pair formats and things with TV shows, and why I don't really kind of rebuy everything on Blu-ray all the time with different setups. You know, I still watch a ton of VHS and Beta and Laserdisc, and you pair different formats and things with different displays. You have multiple different generations of CRTs, and then the projector, and then the HD TV. So pair different things in different formats and stuff from different eras with different displays where they look better. You know, some things look better on the projector or the HD TV or one of the CRTs, whatever. This is one thing that I would love to see just gloriously remastered. So these are the three that are remaining that for me are the must-haves. I really, really want to see them come to Blu-ray. And again, the situation is frustrating with Deep Space Nine and Voyager because the scale of the project, the undertaking, could be much smaller and cheaper than the TNG effort and be financially very successful. And it's even to the point now where it would be insane, given the size of the companies with ownership of Star Trek, to ask for a crowdfunding way of getting it done. But I mean, at this point, that's better than it not happening at all. And Star Trek fans, I mean, getting a Blu-ray remaster of Deep Space Nine will be funded in like 4 hours, which is crazy, and Voyager very quickly as well. It would not take much, so it's crazy it hasn't happened. And MASH 2, with all these classic TV shows, it's odd to me that that one has not taken that step forward. So those are the ones that I would love to see on Blu-ray. I'd love to hear what you are still waiting. What TV shows do you still want to see get remastered and re-released on an HD format? And there's a couple shows I'll bring up here on the end. These are the last 3 of those 5 that are essential. Like, I 100% want to see. I would put money, crowdfund towards. Like, I really want to see those, and then those 5 would be complete. But there's a couple other shows that aren't really in that category for me. Like, if they never come to Blu-ray, whatever, don't really care. But if they did, I probably would be grabbing them up. So those kind of like a different category of that. If it happens, but if it doesn't, not all that concerned. So we'll dig into those shows now. Xena and Hercules, some of my all-time favorite shows. Both are my top 10 ever. Grew up loving them. They were amongst my favorites growing up in the 90s. And again, I don't think they necessarily have to or need to get the Blu-ray upgrade, especially these Anchor Bay sets. They look fantastic, especially on certain displays. And just packed full of so much content, and I really can't see how much they would add to it. But if they did come to a Blu-ray set, I would probably go ahead and pick these up. As well as a few of the classic 60s TV series that have not made that jump. There are a bunch that I really wouldn't care. I'm happy with what I have for the DVDs and wouldn't bother with it. But these are a couple that, if they did happen to come to Blu-ray, I probably would end up picking them up. The Addams Family, Get Smart, and Gilligan's Island. I'm a huge fan of 60s TV. The 60s and the 90s are easily the 2 decades that I watch the most and rewatch the most, TV from. So those, and then the very last ones that are a little bit, let's say even a little bit lower on that list, where it would have to really be something added to it that's really significant for me to want to grab it, but I would at least eye them. They wouldn't be ones I would just pass by and not care. Mary Tyler Moore Show, Seinfeld, and the very last one, The Simpsons. Only those first 9 seasons, if those got some sort of upgraded collection or whatever, especially once the show eventually goes off the air, if they started going back and re-releasing them, I might look to see, it depends on what they do with it, the early seasons of The Simpsons, but wouldn't be super interested or disappointed if it never really happened. Same thing with the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Seinfeld. It would be cool to see, but they would have to have something that makes it a significant upgrade to kind of trade up. So that's TV on Blu-ray for me. Again, it's very different depending on what eras of TV you're into and what kind of setup are you using, and do you have variations of different setups, and what formats are you using as well. Especially if you're younger and the only thing you have really is an HD or a 4K TV, and you're only really into the more modern shows, and you only really started collecting stuff with Blu-ray, that's a different scenario than someone like me who started buying TV shows on VHS tapes, which were an insane amount of money for like 2 or 3 episodes usually, and have a huge DVD collection already of these shows. Buying something for the first time and your option is a remastered set versus an older set is a little different than, hey, I already have this on older formats 2 or 3 times over. Is the new thing actually worth the upgrade? What did they do to it? So different scenarios, and again, those just couple of shows that are like, I really want to see those get that remastered treatment. They really need it and deserve it. And then the other ones that it'll be cool if they happen someday, but not overly concerned. So I'd love to hear what are some of your favorite TV shows that you would still like to see get a remastered treatment or just a re-release on Blu-ray.